Hello everyone, SimCFI here. Today we're going to do a quick look on the ADF panel for the A2A Simulations Constellation. So before we hop in, let's go ahead and connect the ground power unit. Okay, we'll hop inside. We'll turn on the master battery switch. And then we'll hop over to that station here, flight engineer station. We'll turn on the avionics master, the radio master. Hop back to the pilot seat. Okay, so the ADF panel is in the middle of the overhead panel up here. So let's use Control Shift and Enter to slide on over to it, because you want to get a good accurate reading of these radios. So first you got to figure out which frequency we need to tune for the non-directional beacon you're trying to use. So we're sitting on the ground at Portland, and the Laker NDB is non-functional because it's crossed through. But we can receive Banks NDB over here on frequency 356. So we're going to do that. So you have to start by choosing your major frequency band up here. And so 356 falls in the 200 to 410 range. Then you use this dial down here. You can click and drag to make it go fast. And then you can use the mouse wheel to fine tune from there. So 356, we got 320, 330, 40, no. 320, 25, 30, 35, 40. So we need 356. So here's 50 and 60. So then dead center of here is 55. 2 clicks over is 356. And you can press Shift plus 6 to figure out exactly what these frequencies are tuning. So ADF 1 is on 355.5. And there's 356. And so the key to note is every click on this dial, on this knob here, is going to be 0.5 of the frequency. See how it's going up by 0.5? So 356 is right here, and then you can start learning how to see it on the gauge. So 355, send it up, looks like that. So then 2 clicks over is 356. So once you get it tuned, you see this needle spike, and this is showing basically how we're receiving the signal. And this little tuning meter, you can have it switch between ADF 1 and 2. You got ADF 2 over here on the right, does all the same thing as the other ADF. We got 2 ADF radios basically. So in ADF mode, which is your basic function that you're always going to use the ADF in, that's going to display the needle on your RMI, your remote magnetic indicator. You just have to make sure that the pointer, your number 1 pointer, is set to low frequency. So right now it's on VOR. You click it over to low frequency. Number 1 pointer lines up with ADF 1. So now that's pointing to the ADF. And it's out that way somewhere. A heading of about 270. So in ADF mode you get the needle. But if you're trying to identify the station from farther away, here we can identify it now by going down here to the audio select panel and choosing ADF 1. And then wait for the Morse code. So that's the Morse code identifier, and that Morse code is depicted here. So if you're farther away and you can't quite pick up that signal, that Morse code, you can go over here and switch it to antenna mode. So ANT, and that'll take away the display on the RMI, but you'll be able to pick up the signal farther. And in real life, you can use the ADF to listen to some AM radio frequencies as well. So this is the best way to listen to those from a longer range. And in the loop mode, it's a little bit older. As you can see, it's with an older airplane. Not entirely sure what it does. It did a little bit of reading, but basically you can turn this knob here and it turns the loop antenna that would be on the plane, and but it also doesn't display the needle, so I'm not fully sure what it does, and it probably doesn't have exact functionality in the flight sim. So really in the flight simulator you're just going to keep it on the ADF mode, tune your frequency, make sure it's the right one, it's tuned up like that, identify it by selecting the ADF 1, and then you see the needles over here, and then you navigate with the same principles we talked about in the last video of pushing the head and pulling the tail. Alright, so that's the quick look on how to tune and set up your ADF in the A2A Constellation.